Hello and welcome to Lofty May Vlogs. My name is Tracy and I'm the host of the Knitting on the Float podcast. When I came out this morning, I was hopeful. I put shorts on, but I will tell you, it is a bit chilly. It's probably 18, 20 degrees, but after the beautiful sunny weather we've been having, it does feel a little bit chillier than usual. Today we will be up to our usual things. We will be sitting down doing a little bit of craft chat and having a nice beverage. We will be up in the loft, although I don't know what task I'm going to do today. And I'm looking around and unfortunately I'm not seeing much nature right now. So we're probably going to have to come out a little bit later and see what's happening on the river. We're kind of at a mid-tide right now. The mudflats aren't fully exposed and I find that we tend to see a little bit more duck and goose sightings when the tide is lower. So maybe later on this afternoon we will see those gorgeous little goslings and gorgeous little ducklings. Or it'll just be the male mallards. I am hearing a lot of crows and seeing a lot of crows flying around today. They're a little harder to capture on film though. Today, before I get to any of my tasks though, my big job is to play the role of mom, and I will be taking Isaac and picking him up at his work. So he's teaching swimming this morning, and then his show started Thursday night, and I will be driving him to the theater where he has a matinee and an evening performance. So my number one priority right now is going to get him, so I will see you a little bit later. It is much later in the day than when I visited with you last. I picked Isaac up from the pool, drove him to the theater, and ended up staying and watching the show. So it was really great, and Isaac is playing in a production of Spring Awakening in Vancouver, and he is playing the role of Otto. So I put a post on my Instagram, and it was a very lightly attended matinee. I've brought him home. He's just having his dinner, and then he'll head back to the theater for the evening show. I do see a little bit of wildlife on the river, and I'm going to capture it while I can because it is the blue heron, and I'm afraid he's going to fly away. So now that we are back in the float home, or at the float home, we are ready to see some nature, share some crafting, and then we'll go and do something in the loft. Although I think it's going to be a little task because it is now much later in the day. If you look through, there is the heron, and I think the heron is being very, very cautious. So I'm going to carefully walk over that way, trying not to scare him. And maybe he will stay put. So, oh, he got a fish. Looks like he got like a little smelt or something. Maybe not. Yeah, it looks like he's got a smelt. Oh, he's getting a little, oops. He's getting a little fish or something along those lines. And just having a little wade in the water. Otherwise, I don't see any geese or duck action happening. A sparrow just ran across the shared dock, but otherwise, right now, it is just the blue heron. Let's see if I can get a tiny bit closer. I think it's like a little smelt that he's able to get out of the water. It's like a little silver fish. He's watching. And there you got another one. A good fisher bird. Well, I have got myself up to the loft. It is not at this moment to do any tidying. It is to have a little bit of tea and a little bit of crafty chat. So I thought I would come up here and sit for a few minutes before we tackle whatever task we're going to get up to today. When I went to go get Isaac from the pool and take him to the theater, made myself a cup of tea. So I have been into it today, a little bit of cheating, I suppose, but I still have quite a bit left. And I am drinking Bonfire Toffee, which is a bird and blend tea, and always smells so good. And because it is in my lovely David's Tea thermal mug, it is still nice and warm. And I took this thinking it was just going to be in the car and then I'd come back and get on with the day, but life happened and I ended up staying, watching the show, and then coming back knowing I still have some work to do. So you know what, let us today cheer to life happening, because sometimes when those things that you don't expect to happen, they're pretty good. So cheers to life and life happening. I have to admit that I find that the weekends are the hardest time to work on this vlog series and cleaning up the loft. I think part of it is because it's not just me home alone. Greg's right now down in the kitchen, the two boys are in the room, so it's a little bit more challenging to get these vlogs put together and to figure out what I want to do in the space as well. So I do find weekends are a little bit more difficult, and I tend to do a little bit more of the fluffy tasks on the weekend. And because today has been such a busy day already, I'm going to say it's probably going to be a very fluffy task, and I still have not decided what we're going to do. Oh, thankfully I've got this. The project that I worked on last night, no surprise, is living in my little bobbins bag, and I started sock 2 of the Handmade Sock Society pattern 2, and this is gorgeous Wool Barn yarn, which, there we are, is not really capturing as nicely as I would like it to. This is the Mist colorway, and it is on plush sock, which is now called soft sock, 85% merino and 15% nylon, and it is a beautiful bluey green. And I will tell you that last night I got through the cuff and I am now into the leg, and I am at 55% total done this project. So I've still got quite a ways to go, and you can bet I will be working on this tonight after we do the loft task and after I get everything edited. So for now, we need to get to the loft task because it is now, Greg, what time is it? 5:50. It is late in the day. We need to do the loft task so that I can get this edited and up before midnight, because we do not want this vlog to turn into a pumpkin. So let's head over and get this task done. Although I still don't know what that task is going to be yet. I have one idea. If you look carefully, something is here that it was in the loft yesterday, but it wasn't where it was. And what is here is I have purposely left an empty bin right here. And that's because I have a beautiful box of wonderful yarns. But right now, that box looks overcrowded, and I'll go get it. It just looks a little bit too much. And while this is a beautiful looking box, I think, and I was thinking about it yesterday, which is why I chose to leave this here, I am going to put the contents of this box, or what I can, into this bin here. So we have a little bit more yarn in bins, which was not what my original hope was, but I also have some beautiful yarns that need to be put somewhere that make sense. Now I have a mixture. You can see that these are some beautiful bits, and these are Shalimar yarns. They're Shalimar Airy. Unfortunately, I don't believe that Shalimar is dying anymore, which is too bad. And I've also got some beautiful, probably I've got a sweater quantity. I've got one that has already started, and then I have 3 of this red. So what I might do is I might grab one of the other Ziploc bags, put the leftover lovelies of the Airy into the leftover lovely basket, and then put the full skeins, plus I know this is leftover lovely, but it does go with these full skeins for a sweater quantity, and put that in here. And look how convenient this is. This makes my life a little bit easier because extra things were being put in this box. Oh goodness. I also have some lovely floof here, and part of this is a used skein and then a full skein. So this, if I can pop this into the cabinet where I believe I've got some Surrey alpaca and some naked mohair, the hedgerow ones, this would be an extra wonderful thing to have there for when I do projects that I'm holding yarn double, especially either Surrey alpaca or the mohairs, and doing lovely cowls, always so lovely with a nice Surrey alpaca or mohair held double. Okay, here is, this is called Curtain Call. How appropriate after going to see Isaac's show today. So we will put Curtain Call in its own bag, and that bag will go in here. So these are going to be sweater quantity type of things, and then these beautiful skeins of Airy will be, and I had used this for my, not the Snuggle Down, but the other pattern by Jules, which is fabulous, and it's Baubles. I cannot remember the name of it, but I love it, and it's a nice long cowl that wraps around, and I cannot remember the name, so I'm going to pop it in. But I had used these yarns for my test knit of that, and I had been using the Surrey alpaca, so that's why these are all together. So into the leftover lovely bins, and then I also have some more Shalimar. I have a single of Tamarillo, and then I have these beautiful ones which are called Deep Lake, and I believe I have 5. So a sweater quantity of this gorgeous blue. And Shalimar Airy is so lovely to work with. And ooh, these are beautiful yarns. And some of them are a mixture of leftover lovelies, and there are 2 beautiful single skeins. So I'm going to do a little bit more separation. I have 1 skein left of this Moondrake. This is a DK, and I made my Yulgran sweater out of this. The Yulgran is a pattern by Andy Satterland, and it's got the Christmas tree on it, and I used buttons as my Christmas decorations, and I love it. And I do have a little bit left over from when I knit my Yule Grand. So those are my leftovers. So definitely want to keep, I probably should keep these together because they would make a great project when you, especially when you're pulling stuff together. I have this gorgeous hedgerow yarns, and this one is from a Christmas set. I think this probably was one of Jules's Christmas sets, and I think it came with a beautiful, it might have been like a Christmas Eve cast on set, and I believe it came with a beautiful bag, which of course, let me see if I can find which one it came with. I think it may have come with the lovely Christmas mice, but I'm not 100% sure. So this as a single, if I could fit it into the cabinet. And then I have this absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous skein, which was a gift, and oh, a very precious one. And this one is called Cloud Bursting, and this is Beehive Yarns, and oh, it is so, so gorgeous. So these two I will put in, I have one more bag, and I will put these in here, and these will somehow, I will make them fit into the cabinet. This bag here has these gorgeous leftover lovelies, and this is the yarn I used for my second love note, and these are both Fiori by La Bien-Aimée. This is Merino Singles, and this is the Mohair Silk, and these will be perfect to put in the leftover lovely bins as well. In this box I had a lovely shawl pin and a mystery item here from Loop. I think maybe buttons. And they are lovely little buttons, and I've got a whole big bag of these. So these right now are going into the second shelf in the sewing cupboard. So you know we're going to revisit these in the days ahead. I now have this box empty, no longer propped open, and it is a beautiful box, and I will repurpose it for something else. I just don't know what. So for today, it was definitely good to empty this. I have one more task that I would like to do today though, and it's a really simple one. I almost forgot about this bin, so I have put the Shalimar yarns, the leftover Moondrake, and then I have the leftover brushwork from my Macaulay cardigan. So I've put those in here, and the lid is on, and that will now perch there. So it was good to get that emptied and put into leftover lovelies here, and then a couple of preciouses into the cabinet. As I mentioned, we have one more task to do, and it's a really simple one, and it will be, I need to move the knitting angel for a moment. I am going to move this cross stitch that I did many years ago. It's called the Porch Swing, and it is a Paula Vaughn design, and it's a Leisure Arts cross stitch pattern. It is so beautiful. I don't know whether it's, there we go, I guess it's not catching the light now. I'm going to move this over top of my computer, and I'm going to move the upstairs sewing room, another Paula Vaughn design Leisure Arts cross stitch, over here, because this is closest to the sewing machine. So nice sitting area, porch swing, and we'll just do that really quickly. And here we are, the upstairs sewing room. This is a beautiful cross stitch that I did quite a long time ago when I used to do a lot more cross stitch than I did knitting. And this is going to go right here. I already have the hook in the wall, and let us put our beautiful vanilla squirrel knitting angel to watch over this part of the craft area. And yes, there's one here too. I need all the knitting angels I can get. Right now I'm going to take this box downstairs along with this shawl pin to put with where the shawls are, and I think we are going to call it a day. Am I starting to worry that if I keep doing fluffy little tasks like this that we may not finish by the end of May? Yes, I am. Is the world going to end? No. What's the worst that can happen? We maybe have to go into June a little bit, or, you know, maybe it's still a lot better than when we started. Anyway, for today, I am going to call it a day. It has been a really, really lovely one, but it's been busy, and if I want to get this video up before midnight, well, I need to start editing. So sometimes we go with the flow, and we take what comes to us, lovely things like being able to go and see a show in the middle of the day. Those are the things we look forward to, and if it means that the cleaning has to wait a little bit longer, then the cleaning has to wait, and that's okay. But you know what? We did get a tiny, tiny, tiny bit done. This really is a fantastic box, and I had a rethink. I think, in fact, it is going to stay up here because it is the perfect home for my waste yarn cones, my circular sock machine handbook, and the yarns that I am planning to use for the next few pairs of socks that I plan to knit on the circular sock machine. So I've got the world in my hands, and also all of my circular sock machine things that I will need. And I'm just going to keep it up here because I think that's the best place for it. I am just editing today's vlog, and Nathaniel mentioned that there is a beautiful swan on the river. So Bendy is out and about and just having a little swim off of the float home. We haven't seen him in a little while, and he's just enjoying the last rays of today's sunshine and having a bit of a groom. You know those days where your routine just gets a little bit off kilter? That was my Saturday today. And that's okay. That's what Saturdays are for, aren't they? Just to kind of go a little bit off of your regular routine. I had a fabulous day. It got a lot warmer than I thought it was going to, and I was able to see Isaac's show. I will be going to see it in early June as well, but it was nice to go and see it today and enjoy the show. But yeah, it just sort of threw my routine off a little bit. So as I'm editing today's video, I realize I did not say a proper goodbye. So I am, for now, wishing you a wonderful day, evening, whatever time it is for you. And it is definitely the golden hour here. And I will see you tomorrow when it's going to be a busy Sunday. We're going to do another fluffy task again, but that's okay. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm really going to need to turn things around and get some of those bigger tasks done. But it's the weekend. I can enjoy, and the most important thing is that I need to realize that it's okay to put off the cleaning if I need to, and enjoy those life moments when they come up. Have a wonderful evening, day, whatever. See you tomorrow. Bye. I have something super exciting in my hot little hands. Last night I sent this up to the printer, and when I was doing my little scan of the area, I went, oh yes, I've sent this to the printer. This is the latest version of the Handmade Sock Society Pattern 2 in my hot little hands. And well, you won't quite get this yet. It's really not that far away. Thursday will be here before you know it. And then you too will have a copy of this amazing, beautiful pattern in your hands too if you have joined in the Sock Society. So tonight I get to spend some time with this, and I am definitely very, very excited to do that, especially after a long and busy day.